Namaste everyone. So in the first part there was some technical glitch. So we are starting again the session in the second part and we are continuing with the topic opportunities for lawyer under GST law by Mr. Subrahmanyam from Bangalore. Sir, over to you, sir.
Fine. Thank you very much. Um, I have to say sorry for the technical glitches. Anyway, we cannot help. So we were discussing about the opportunity for advocates under GST law. There are multiple issues in GST law. There will be interpretational issues, there will be procedural lapses, and we have discussed all those things in the first this one first part. Now we were just in the beginning stage only. There was nothing called first, but okay, this is the second part.
Yes, sir.
Classification dispute, input tax credit issues, that is what I was discussing. Input tax is a tax what we pay to our supplier, that we avail for furtherance of business. So reverse charge mechanism, GST notices and litigation. There are multiple notices come from the department for various factors. One is simple, one is you have not filed your return. That may go up to appellate level, and that may go up to cancellation of registration for a small taxpayer, for a businessman. If his business get cancelled, his registration gets cancelled, he cannot do business further. I hope the screen is visible, Kunal.
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Oh. So notices might come, litigation will start. Reverse charge mechanism is something we are new to this. Of course, in the previous regime also it was there. Reverse charge is very simple. If I am buying from a unregistered dealer, I will pay tax on behalf of him and tax take credit of it as an input tax credit. That is a simple understanding is that there are certain goods and services on which you have to pay by reverse charge mechanism. The best example is advocate services. If any business organization is taking advocate services, see, advocates are beneficial here in the sense compliance wise. Of course, there are some exemptions. Advocates giving services to a company, on that, company only will pay tax and take input tax credit. Advocate need not raise an invoice to the businessman. That is a business organization. And e-way bill. E-way bill is something like it's a kind of permit from one place to another, movement of goods. Some people does not raise a e-way bill, and after certain limit, let's say 50,000 and above, there should be it should accompany with the e-way bill if you are transporting your goods. There are people not doing that, so naturally disputes will come in. Refund of claims. Let's say I have bought many goods and services from within India, and I have exported by manufacturing something. Let's say mobile phone. Of course, we don't manufacture and sell it, but there are some product. Let us say when we export it, we are supposed to get benefit out of any exports. We are bringing in dollars, foreign currency. So whatever taxes we have paid here in India, that cannot be utilized because export services are non-taxable. There is no tax for that. Whatever taxes we have paid to our suppliers, that you can claim as a refund. There are refund issues also coming in between, and penalties and prosecution. If you are not compliant to the procedural aspect, then there are chances that you are penalized, and prosecution also is there. Arrest is also there under GST. GST department is given the arrest provisions also. This is these are all the of course, for a layman it looks, oh, arrest is also there, but for an advocate he will think that it's a opportunity. There is a saying that people who find opportunities in every calamity, and people who find calamity in every opportunity also, some people. So who is a GST practitioner? Now let us just go through the other aspect. Apart from advocate, chartered accountant, company secretaries, and apart from professionals, GST practitioner is a new entry to the profession. I'm talking about within the enactment. There is a Authority given. Who is GST? GST practitioner is authorized tax professional assisting taxpayer. He should be a commerce graduate, and there are different basic qualifications given under Rule 83, and Section 48 is also talking about that. I'll come to that. GSTs play a key role in compliance but have limited legal authority. What the key role? They do the basic work, approaching the client, getting the documents from them, verifying the document, filing the return, all these things they do. But they cannot go to the higher authorities. Sometimes they have authority up to uh, say appellate tribunal also, they have the authority, but they are not equipped with knowledges. So that time lawyers come into picture. Functions include return filing, advisory, compliance issues, the basic issues, basic compliance part. So sections and rules governing GST practitioner are section 48 of CGST Act, rule 83 also talking about that, and key forms. There are authorization forms like PCT1 is the first authorization form application, PCT2 is a approval. Likewise, 3 to 4 forms are there. A rule 83A is talking about the engagement conditions for professional engagement. These are all about GST practitioners. What are the roles and responsibility of GST practitioner? Why I'm talking about GST practitioner is because lawyers get the next level of work from the place where GST practitioners have left it. Okay, we should understand that before we understand the lawyer's opportunity and responsibilities. GST registration assistance, of course, basic work in getting it registered, then return filing, monthly return filings, then appeals and they can go for appeals and representation. However, grounds, facts, prayers, and all these things, they might not be completely equipped with the knowledge. There comes the knowledge of advocate and e-way bill compliance, ITC reconciliation, general advisory services. Definitely, GST practitioners will do. Okay. Now, over and above this, wherever there is an issue within these functions, that is GST registration. Let's say one business organization should have been registered, but it is not registered. There is a notice coming from the department, and they can prosecute you. That time lawyer come into picture. Return filing, if you're not filing your return properly, or if you've shown something wrong, there might be notices coming in there. Advocate services might be required at a higher level. Appeals and representation, knowledge wise and for appearing, advocates are required. E-way bill compliance also another disputable area. ITC reconciliation is something, input tax. This is not ITC the company. Input tax credit, we have availed wrong input tax credit or more input tax credit which we were not supposed to take as a business organization, is not supposed to take. All these things are disputable areas. General advisory services, these are all the areas where GST practitioners work. Within these areas, whatever disputes arising, advocates come. What a GST practitioner can't do, but an advocate can. This is where our role comes in, advocate's role come in. Representation before higher courts. Let us say one particular matter is completely gone out of hand of the taxpayer, that is a dealer, then it goes to the tribunal. Then there also nothing is getting resolved. Then you have to go to high court. Not only higher court, there are no higher other courts, higher courts. High court only the first court for us. Rest of the things, everything will be within the department only. Okay. They have the jurisdiction of civil courts, higher authorities. Okay. Legal interpretation and opinions. There are certain goods or services where you interpret in a different way and the department interpret in a different way. No, no, this is not exempted services. Let's say rice in a loose quantity, it is exempted. Okay, if it is crossing, if it's packed, there was a recent change happened somewhere in 1 year back. If it is a branded, then it is chargeable. You will There will be dispute. And 26 kg and above, and 26 kg and below, there are multiple what do you call interpretations. Their interpretations, opinions, their dispute arises, and GST practitioners cannot handle it. Drafting and filing writ petitions. Let us say one particular matter is not getting resolved and there is a constitutional or interpretational issue. Only High Court can interpret the laws. So there writ petitions are important. So filing a writ petition, of course, GST practitioners cannot do. We have to do under Article 226 of the Constitution. Handling of GST evasion and prosecution cases. Of course, suddenly GST department comes in and uh, completely take control of the business when they find that there is a fraudulent activity or there is huge tax evasion is happening. That time they cannot prosecute for the bail and other things. Advocates come into picture. Challenging constitutional validity of GST laws. See, one example I'll give you. There is something called uh, section 16.2, one section called section 16.2. In that section, there is a condition that your supplier, to take input tax credit, your supplier should have paid the tax. That was challenged multiple times by advocates. For example, how, let's say I bought some goods from XYZ supplier. How can I ensure his financial capability to pay tax? How can I see that he is paying the tax? I cannot do that. So it is a kind of doctrine of impossibility. So this was the argument many senior advocates have done in various courts, various high courts, and even Supreme Court. It went to Supreme Court also. So challenging the constitutional validity of GST laws. This is also one of the very crucial part where advocates come into picture. Career pathways for lawyers in GST. What are all the careers they can choose as a advocate? One is independent GST litigation practice. You can practice independently in alignment with the GST practitioner or directly the dealer. Joining law firms specializing in indirect taxation. There are multiple law firms across India who are only into GST law or direct and indirect taxes. Okay. Corporate in-house counsels roles. Of course, there are big organizations where every activity should be monitored from the legal perspective. Their advocates play a big role. Working with big four consulting firms, there are big four consulting firms in taxation. So there they need somebody to appear before the courts. The chartered accountants can work on numbers very well. They will also be thorough with the law, maybe. But when it comes to court procedures, advocates are required. They are thorough with the GST law, but court procedures are completely different, as you know. Government roles in GST Council and Tax Department. Tax Department also, as a defendant, they will also appoint lawyers, advocates, and they appear on behalf of the department. That is also possible. That is also a key area where advocates play a crucial role. Recent GST case laws. There are. This is just to make you understand that there are litigations happening up to Supreme Court. I am not going in detail about these case laws, just to make you understand that how the disputes arise. Kunal, I am audible. No problem. Okay, you can chat. No problem.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Okay. there are multiple case laws, constitutional provisions, and also multiple procedural aspects where the dispute have arisen, and which went up to Supreme Court also, the interpretation aspects. So GST as a specialized act, a new act, new enactment, it is a big, there is a big opportunity for GST practitioners as well as advocates, from the junior advocate to the senior counsels. There are multiple opportunities and multiple responsibilities also to safeguard the client's interest. Okay, so I'm basically closing my session with this simple. This is the first session with the your organization. I hope I have given some insights. There might be few words, few concepts uh, new to you, many of you, but it's a new thing, of course, for many people. We also learned it new. Hope it was fruitful for learners.
So
Thank you
you
so
are
much.
right, sir.
Any
It
questions
was
are
a
there? They
wonderful
can share.
session, sir. It
Thank you.
was wonderful session. You have taught us many things, sir. Right? You taught us about how the journey changes from the VAT to GST, sir, and the importance of GST in law. And sir, even sir, you have discussed about many case laws, sir. The most important thing today, which I personally learned from you, is patience, sir. So even there was some technical glitch, but you did not get angered, sir, and you continued with it. So thank you for that, sir. So now we will go with this question answer session. If anybody has any question, they can give to us. So I have
Yes,
got some questions in the WhatsApp. Even I will ask that. But if anybody has any question, they can give to us.
yes, yes, yes.
So we have
What
got
are
the
the?
first question in the screen, sir.
I've already explained this. What are all the career prospects for lawyers specializing GST law? Yes, see in public limited companies. Let me say big organization means public limited companies. Day on a day in and day out, notices come in from the department. We have to go through the notices, we have to interpret the concepts there, and we have to reply, and we have to make sure that things are in place. This is the major opportunity specializing in GST law. And there are very few players in taxation law, very few players. You will find many lawyers for jail, bail, civil, etc., property related, even some specialized enactments like uh, intellectual property. Whereas GST, you will, I mean, taxation laws, you will find very less number of advocates. That is itself is a major prospect for specializing in GST law.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Any more question, please?
Yes. Anything is there? Please let me know. What are the
So
recent changes and
Krisangi
amendments?
Chetia is asking, sir, something.
Okay.
So what are
What
the
are the
recent changes and amendments in GST laws?
okay. Recent changes, reverse charge mechanism. There is one recent change I'll tell you. One major recent change I'll tell you. I made a video also on that. Uh, if I'm a dealer, I'm a GST registered person, and I have taken a place, business place, where the business owner does not have GST at all. Earlier, this was not covered. Now, being a dealer, you should pay tax on behalf of the unregistered landlord and take input tax credit. Input tax credit, all these jargons you can go through if you are not familiar with. If you are already familiar, I think you understood. So you have to pay. It is your responsibility to pay the tax on behalf of the unregistered landlord and take input tax credit. This is one of the major changes, and it keeps happening. See, uh, GST committee. I mean. GST Council, sorry, GST Council gives regular updates through notifications. GST Council meeting happens regularly. Earlier, only during the budget session we used to come to know about the changes or taxation changes, percentage changes, anything. Now, this is very frequent. There are 1000 plus notifications have come. First time in any taxation law, so many changes have happened. If I start speaking about the changes, there are many changes. This food operators like your food operators are there, Swiggy and all that. Earlier, the restaurant person had to make the payment, and food operator used to collect the payment from the customer. If you order a biryani, you will pay to the person who is, money to the person who is coming to your place. He need not pay the tax. The food operator or restaurant person used to pay that. Now government has decided, okay, anyway you are only collecting the money, pay yourself the tax. Such kind of changes have already come many times. So it is a regular process. If you are very specific about certain things, I can answer you on that. No problem. If you send a request through Kunal or the chat box. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So can we take another question, sir?
Yes, please.
Okay. Istiak, another question. So from
GST.
Istiak itself, so another question. What are the advantages of being a GST lawyer
Yeah.
compared to other legal fields?
I already explained it. I'll explain it in a different way so that one
Yes, sir.
more angle you will understand in another angle also. See, civil, jail, bail, all these things are already written in a civil law, civil procedure law. Now, Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita and criminal aspects. So there won't be much changes, and you have to search for the clients in the client wise. Monetary, I mean, pecuniary point of view. Only when there is a dispute between two parties, you are coming in between. Whereas here, and I'm talking majorly, okay, there also department issues might come in civil law also, but here only between the department and the dealer. So since there are multiple changes, so dynamic changes are happening, people really want to know what is the next changes, recent changes. Someone has asked. So there are many changes. That is an advantage for a practicing advocate. It's an advantage, right? So many changes are happening. It's an advantage. If everything is known to people, then where is you and me playing the role, isn't it? So that is one angle. Other two aspects I've already explained. There are very few number of players in taxation, and you can be an advocate within the department without the court procedure, without knowing the court procedure also. As a quasi judicial platforms, you can make your career. Quasi judicial platform is tribunal. Tribunals are not the typical court procedures, won't be there. Okay, it is, you can say that it's a departmental, one part of our department, you can say, on a higher level. So uh, you, without going to court also, you can practice here as an advocate in a bigger level. You can play a bigger role. Yes. Anything
Yes, sir.
else?
So I have my personal questions to you, sir.
Yeah.
So how can a GST lawyer can
Hmm.
help in, sir, cross-border transactions, sir?
Cross border transaction. Okay, see, export, government of India is always motivating the exporters, because we need to get the foreign currency, then only our economy will be very good. So when government is pushing so much for the export and imports also, see, we do imports also, no? Our
Yes,
entire
sir.
mobile phones are completely imported only. I mean, maximum imported phones only we are getting it. So when you are importing and when especially when you are exporting, refund claims, there your advocate's roles come into picture. There are multiple issues between the department and the traders. That is one thing. Secondly, there are certain interpretational issues are there. Let's say one person is giving service sitting in India and giving service abroad. Okay, app development or software development or something. Government might interpret in a different way. Okay, and you might understand it in a different way. The government will say, no, no, you have to pay tax here whether you are export, because you are sitting here. I'm just giving you an example. Similarly, uh, understanding a foreign law is also somewhere it is required, not exactly every transaction. So here also your role comes into picture. And disputes come in between. Many a times dispute arises whether in export or import, there will be tax disputes. So that is your major role in the cross
Yes.
border transactions.
Yes. So
Give
due
you
to
one
poverty
example.
of time,
I'll give you one
if
example. Okay, sorry, I'll
okay,
give you
okay,
one
sir, you
example.
can continue. You can
I
continue, sir.
never felt complete when I explained you. One particular example I'll tell you. I have a client. She gives a service from India, sitting in India. Uh, the client is in China. Okay, it's a ship servicing, but she has to do invoicing to Indian counterpart, giving service abroad. There is a lot of confusion whether the service is local service or export of services. So government, you might claim that it's the service is happening in China. I will take it as export of services, no tax to be paid. It is my understanding, interpretation. Whereas government is saying, no, 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 no. You are billing to a person who is sitting here in Bombay. From Bangalore, you are billing to Mumbai. And he is only, payment is coming from China, agreed. But you are invoicing it into Mumbai person. So it's a local service, you pay the tax. This is a typical issue coming in. Yes.
Correct, sir. So we can take a last question if anybody has a last question due to the poverty of time.
Yes. Yes. What is the most
So
challenging?
advocate Sivani Joshi is asking a question. What are the most okay the question okay? What are the most challenging ethical dilemma you have faced in your advocacy career, and how did you navigate it, sir?
I think I need a clarity on the question first. Ethical dilemma means, okay, I can understand on a rough level. I can understand you are leaving your ethics, and you have to compromise on your ethics. Is that the question you're asking?
Yes,
Your
sir. I think so, sir.
Okay. See, that is correct. Uh, Advocates cannot go by ethics alone. Of course, we need ethics. Where ethics comes, when it comes to interpretation of law or practicing the procedural law, there is nothing called ethics. We are going by the enactment section, or if it is a constitutional matter, it is a article. Whereas you are taking clients' money and not working, that is unethical. That way only we can say what is ethical, what is non-ethical. Okay, you have taken the wakalat signature, everything, but you are not appearing in the court and all this thing. Sometimes it looks like unethical, but you have a reason to not going to court. In some cases, due to shortage of time, or you're too busy or something like that. But somewhere it looks like unethical, but you are still in the ethical practice only. But we have to give complete justice to our profession. Other rest of the things are all based on the how evidence you are producing, the evidence, how argument you are doing. It is all based on that perspective only, nothing like unethical or unethical, if you ask me. Okay,
So I
if I
think
understood the question correctly, I don't know. Okay.
yes, sir. I think sir, advocate Sivani Joshi has got her answer.
Yes,
So
yes. Thank
Now
you.
I would like to call uh, Angana Mahanta for the vote of thanks, sir. Angana, go ahead. You are not audible. Kindly on your.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Continue.
Am I audible? Okay.
Yeah,
I would like to express our sincere gratitude to Advocate Subrahmanyam Kudlu sir for his invaluable time and for sharing his profound insights with us. A special thanks to Kunal Agarwal, Istiaq Alam, Avnish Shah, and all the other members of the Legal Root Lift for organizing this session and providing us with a platform to engage in such a meaningful exchange of ideas. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our respected faculties of the Center for Juridical Studies for their unwavering guidance and support. To our viewers, thank you for your active participation and engagement. Lastly, my gratitude goes to everyone working behind the scenes for their seamless coordination and dedication in making this event possible. Thank you.
I would like
Thank
to
you.
add something here, sir. Uh, your patience, your humbleness, your coordination, I will never forget, sir. So, and you were talking about the DP Act, sir. So we can do another session with it, sir. And
Sure,
even I
sure.
thank Sir Avnish Bhaiya, sir. Without him, this session could not be possible, sir. So
Yes, yes.
thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. So we can end the live session, right? Istiak?